Hello and welcome to our millions of viewers here in Nigeria, the continent, and all around the world. This is Lunchtime Politics, where we get to dissect and unpack some of the happenings in the political terrain here in Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. Guess what is on our radar this hour? Expectations are high as Vice President Kashim Shettima is set to deliver Nigeria's statement today at the 80th session of the UNGA holding in New York. Plus, on the program, APC inaugurates a 1,800 campaign council to deliver victory for the party at the November 8 governorship elections in Anambra State. Nigerian Army has sentenced 4 soldiers for arms racketeering in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Lunchtime politics starts right now. Let's get things started now in New York, where Vice President Kashim Shettima will, on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, deliver Nigeria's statement today at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications Office of the Vice President, Mr. Stanley Nkwocha, the address is scheduled for between 3 p.m. Nigerian time and 9 a.m. New York time. The national statement is expected to focus on key global issues, which include multilateralism, UN reforms, climate action, and international finance restructuring. It will be recalled that at the same platform last year, President Bola Tinubu demanded permanent seats for Africa of the United Nations Security Council, a proposal that is now under consideration by the world body. Well, we have our team right there in New York covering the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, and we'll bring you up to speed as development unfold. We're back here in Nigeria. The National Counterterrorism Center, on behalf of the Office of the National Security Advisor, has officially presented 2 kidnapped victims who have been successfully rescued through the non-kinetic strategies in addressing security challenges across Nigeria. Speaking in Abuja shortly before reuniting with their families, the national coordinator of the National Counterterrorism Center, Major General Adamu Laka, says the life of every Nigerian is priceless. Well, the victims, Khadija Shehu Magaji and Fatima Shehu Magaji, were kidnapped on August 18th this year in Makarfi town, Kaduna State, and taken to Yadi Forest in the Kidanda area of Giwa local government area. And while in captivity, Khadija gave birth to a baby girl whom she named Hafsat.
For 33 days, these women endured unimaginable hardship in the hands of their captors. The kidnappers initially demanded an outrageous ransom of 500 million naira, later reducing it to 200 million naira. However, through our non-kinetic approach, anchored on dialogue, intelligence gathering, and strategic intervention, we secured their freedom without the payment of a single dime. Their rescue on 19 September 2025 demonstrates not only the effectiveness of non-kinetic strategies, but also the resilience and unity of our security architecture when we work hand in hand with partners. In this regard, I must extend our profound gratitude to the Kaduna State government for its steadfast support and collaboration.
All right, let's get to tell you other stories now as the National Assembly has unsealed the office of the lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, giving her access to the complex of the federal legislature. This comes just days after the clerk to the National Assembly, Mr. Kamorudin Ogunlano, formally informed Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan in writing that her 6-month suspension remains in effect pending the judgment of the Court of Appeal in the case she instituted against the Senate.
A leadership meeting was held yesterday, and the minority leader, Senator Abamoro, upon resumption on the 7th of October, would read a motion calling on me to apologize. So I'm actually worried as to what apology they expect from me. You can't apologize for an injustice. And may I remind the good people of Nigeria that the document that led to my illegal suspension, which is the recommendation which Senator Neda Emaswen read, was actually written by the office of the Senate President. And the signatures that endorsed that recommendation were not willful signatures. It was only an attendance sheet that was attached. That means the entire document that read and pronounced my suspension was listed with fraud. So this is just one illegality upon the other. And I think in Nigeria, we should reject such things. I think it's actually appalling that such amount of illegality and fraud can occur in the National Assembly. So if they are expecting me to apologize, I'm sorry, I don't have these words. And if that is the condition for opening this office, then I think we have a long dance to make.
Well, you've been listening to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Let's get to dissect some sort of legal perspectives to all of this drama surrounding her resumption and, of course, the 6-month suspension. We're joined this hour by a legal practitioner, Festus Ogun, who joins us live from the Ikeja area here in Lagos, Nigeria. Thanks indeed for agreeing to speak with us on the program. Festus, I mean, just like Senator Natasha, you have had your own legal battles as well. You sued the Lagos State Governor, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as well as the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, in 2021. But now you have reconciled with the Lagos State Governor, Babajide, and you posted some pictures. So let's start from there. Walk us through some of the backstories of what happened.
Well, I initially filed an action in court against what I considered as a violation of my fundamental rights protected under Section 39 and 42 of the 1999 Constitution. And the governor whom I sued in that action thought it wise for us to have the matter settled amicably. And what I essentially approached the court for was for me to be unblocked by the governor. And when I met with the governor explained to me the circumstances that led to my blocking, and the governor indeed caused me to be unblocked. And I feel quite satisfied with the actions of the governor because it addressed my grievances. And that puts an end to the matter. We have a duty. Yes. As citizens of this country
to hold the powerful accountable.
Authorities accountable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what the update is now with the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun.
Oh, the
whom you sued in 2021.
See, look, what we are saying is that we put all these actions into test to ensure accountability, to ensure transparency, and to ensure that the fundamental rights of our people are protected. You may also not be aware that we have also now put the machinery of law in motion in respect of the 330 billion naira that was allegedly disbursed to 1.8 million Nigerians. We have asked the federal government to provide us with the name and other important details that of these beneficiaries. All of these are geared towards ensuring accountability and transparency.
Okay, I was only just asking for an update because we've not had to catch up with you in a very long time now. But
Yeah.
let's get to talk Senator Natasha, whom, I try to liken her case with you as well in terms of trying to fight the powerful, in quote. Her office has been unsealed yesterday. It's been a big story the past 24 hours now. But then again, the issues doesn't appear that these issues have been laid to rest.
I think the National Assembly has done what they should have done ab initio. There is no legal basis why Senator Natasha should not be allowed to resume her office. There is no legal or constitutional basis upon which the Senate has asked that as earlier demanded that, or that she should not resume Senate activities. The position of the law is quite clear on this issue, that if you had suspended a person or a senator for 6 months and the senator has exhausted the period within which you had initially suspended her, arbitrarily or illegally, what you should do is to allow her to resume. In fact, considering that the suspension has elapsed by a fraction of time, she's automatically entitled. She doesn't even need the permission of the Senate to resume activity. I mean, you have sentenced a person, for instance, to 6 months imprisonment. The person has been in prison for 6 months. The person is naturally entitled to leave prison immediately the 6 months has expired. It is so sad that we are even having this conversation in the first place. Are you saying, sir, that because a person is in prison and has exhausted his time in prison, after exhausting his time in prison, he has also filed an appeal before he exhausted his prison term? Are you saying that person should not be released from the prison, all because he had gone ahead to file an appeal against the judgment that sentenced him to prison? And then again, assuming that there is even an appeal, I'm aware there is an appeal filed by Senator Natasha, and there is also an appeal filed by the Senate, the leadership of the Senate and the National Assembly. By now, having exhausted the 6 months suspension that culminated to the action that was filed at the trial court, at the Federal High Court, and later filed at the Court of Appeal. I mean, the reason why they were at the Court of Appeal, they were at the trial court initially, was because of this 6 months suspension. And right about now, the 6 months suspension has elapsed. It makes, in my respectful view, the matter at the Court of Appeal academic. So what exactly are we talking about? Have they cited any law? Have they been able to cite any law? I saw the letter. Did they make reference to any law? Did they make reference to any legal instrument that justify the restriction of Senator Natasha in the first place? So I think the resumption is the appropriate thing to do, because even the suspension should not have happened in the first place if we have a country that is guided by law.
Yes, that was just going to be my next question. If perhaps you would agree with those who think the suspension in the first place was perhaps excessive and unconstitutional.
I think it is arbitrary. It is arbitrary. You see, before now, the Court of Appeal, in a case involving the Bauchi State House of Assembly and Honorable Dana, has made it clear that it is arbitrary and against the fundamental right of the people of the constituents to suspend a lawmaker who has been elected by his or her people. The Court of Appeal has said that it is wrong, it is arbitrary, it's unconstitutional, it's not supported by law. Again, if you look at the provision of Section 68 of the Constitution, the mode upon which is a person that has been elected into a legislative house, the mode in which he or she can be suspended or removed from office has been clearly stated. Suspension is not part of it. One, if the person has joined another legislative house or has defected to another political party, or the person is in prison, or the person resigns office, or where the person is recalled, where the lawmaker is recalled. I do not see any instance that aligns with the Constitution in the suspension of Senator Natasha. What is more, the suspension arose, as the whole world can see, from a personal squabble between two or more forces in the Senate. The question that is begging for answer is this: should the people of Kogi Central suffer for the personal squabble between Senator Natasha and the Senate President? I do not think so. We must be a people that prioritize the rule of law. We must also prioritize the interest of our countrymen in all of this.
Yes,
who had lost.
Yes.
It is the good people of Kogi Central.
Yes, and I totally agree with you that the people of Kogi Central for the past 6 months have had to go through perhaps a really very dark phase, having no representation at all at the Senate. But you also agree with me, for those who are perhaps holding brief for the Senate president, that these are indeed very weighty allegations to make. The allegations of sexual harassment, intimidation, victimization, and all of that. And yet, Natasha had bragged about providing some sort of evidence. And it looks as if we're yet to see any of those evidences just yet.
I do not, while I am also not holding brief for Senator Natasha, I do not think evidence of this nature should be circulated in the public space. I'm aware that legal action has been commenced against her. I believe she has a legal duty to prove her innocence. That is, if the president can prove her guilt. So the matter is already before the courts. I do not think she needs to come to the public to circulate materials, that would be very damning of the Senate president. But the tall and short of the conversation is this: that whatever personal squabble between the Senate president and Senator Natasha, it is not a justification for arbitrary suspension.
Yes, but I mean,
the people of Kogi Central should not be made to suffer the brunt of the personal squabble. This is a personal squabble taken too far. If you have personal squabble or settle your personal scores, before court of competent jurisdiction, not suspending legal representation.
Remember that
I do not think that is the right thing to do.
Absolutely. But there is also a federal lawsuit against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. I mean, though her lawyers have continued to argue that the government has been unfair or has unfairly ignored her petitions against others and then swiftly had to press charges against her. I wonder what your thoughts are.
I will start by saying that the Nigerian authorities are notorious for selectively enforcing laws. Senator Natasha has also made petitions against some persons, and I wonder why those petitions have not been acted upon. But that is not all. We also have to understand that, as it were, by dint of Section 36 of Section 5 of the 1999 Constitution, Senator Natasha is deemed innocent until the court says otherwise. So why should an innocent person, or a person that is deemed innocent, why should she be punished?
All right. Just as the Senate president is also deemed innocent until the court proves otherwise, right?
Oh, absolutely. So why should this person be punished and the other person is left out?
Yes. Let me take you up on something else, because earlier on our breakfast show to the morning brief, those who are close to the Senate president, in fact, one of his consultant, communications and strategy office of the Senate president, was on our breakfast show earlier today, Kenneth Okulugbo. Well, he made some attempts to query not the resumption of the senator now, but the fact that she was accompanied by a huge number of Nigerians. Is that a concern for you as well?
We are elevating this conversation as though the people that have occupied the National Assembly do not have the right to do so. The provision of Section 39, 40, and 41 of our Constitution is very clear. Our people have the right to express themselves. And come to think of it, does the National Assembly belong to anybody? It belongs to the people of this country. It belongs to all of us. So if a senator is thoroughly being victimized, it is our concern as Nigerians to go to that National Assembly and ask questions and stand in solidarity with Senator Natasha. I don't think they have violated any law. Or maybe I should ask, what law have they violated by going to the National Assembly? Is the National Assembly such a sacred place that, young people, concerned Nigerians cannot go there to express their grievances? I mean, we're in a democracy and not in a kind of dictatorship. I read in the news yesterday that, some policemen are trying to, harass and intimidate citizens of this country for approaching the National Assembly. How dare the police do that? It is unconstitutional to do that because the citizens are within their right to go to the National Assembly. They have that right to solidarize with distinguished Senator Natasha. And it is also very laudable that we still have our countrymen standing by a female senator that is being subjected to arbitrary abuse of power. So they should not be. In fact, I think we need to commend those that had the courage to stand out, to stand in solidarity with distinguished Senator Natasha.
Yes.
I think we need to do that. We need to commend them.
So when you look at all that has played out since the start of this year, early this year, when this whole drama begun, now that we are somewhere around trying to round off with our constitutional review process, the deadline is this year, December 2025. One of the key issues is the issue of women representation at the National Assembly, the reserved seats for women. I wonder, when you look at the whole Natasha incident and you look at the pushback, perhaps, from the leadership of the Senate, the maybe big boys of the Senate, I should call them, I wonder if you're optimistic that this particular proposal to have a bit more seats preserved for women is going to see the light of day?
See, my concern is the fact that we have a leadership in this country that treats women with disdain. We have a leadership in this country that treats women with contempt. I feel that when you look at the history of these cases of suspension, illegal suspension, and all of that, you see that this of Senator Natasha is peculiar. If not for the vocal advocacies from the civil society, from the opposition, from fellow Nigerians, the attempt of the Senate is to suspend Senator Natasha indefinitely. And this is linked essentially to the fact that she's a woman and she's vocal enough to stand on her rights and to speak for her people.
Barrister Ogun, there are those who would disagree with you because in terms of the Senate ethics, some would say that, she was assigned or she was reassigned a seat and then she flouted the instructions of the Senate. And I know they have their rules in the Senate.
See, on that point,
so that's the arguments for the Senate. I hate to hold brief for them.
I do not intend to join issues on all of those factual basis. But even the court judgment, where everyone had opportunity to present their case, the court made it clear that the suspension was excessive. What is more, the court even found that the suspension was excessive. What is more, you cannot deny a people representation for 6 months because of an alleged infraction, of an alleged infraction of the Senate rule. The Senate rule cannot override the right of the people of Kogi Central to be represented on the floor of the House. That is the point we're able to make.
Barrister Ogun, I'm told that we are absolutely pressed for time. But maybe in 20 seconds or less, since your matter with the Lagos State Governor was resolved amicably and out of court, do you think that the case between Senator Natasha and the Senate President should also be resolved amicably and perhaps out of court as well?
No, absolutely. As many would know, I'm an advocate of alternative dispute resolution, whether it's a human rights issue, whether it's a constitutional issue. It should, I mean, there is a room for alternative dispute resolution, but that should not give room, that should not be at the expense of sacrificing justice on the altar of Baal. We should not do that. We should settle, but we cannot continue to, force people to settle. Settlement should be on mutual agreement of both parties and on the frontiers of respect for the rule of law and the principles of constitutional democracy.
Festus Ogun is a legal practitioner and he's joined us here from the Ikeja area of Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you indeed for your analysis.
Thank you for having me.
All right, as we begin to wind down now on the program, let's take you to Anambra State, where the All Progressives Congress, APC, has inaugurated a 1,800-man campaign council to deliver victory for the party at the November 8th governorship election. Speaking during the inauguration in the Anambra State capital, the national chairman of the party, Nentawe Yitwada, explains that the party had the necessary resources to win the elections. The chairman, who was represented by the Southeast National Vice Chairman of the party, Ijoma Arodiogbu, asked that the members have been carefully selected as well as suited for the job. This urging the campaign council and leadership as well as party members to work hard to ensure victory for the APC at the elections. The DG of the council, Dr. Dozie Ikedife, on behalf of members, also pledged to deliver Ukachukwu and Senator Uche Ekenufe as governor and deputy governor. And finally on the program, 4 soldiers have been sentenced to by a special court-martial convened by the acting general officer commanding 7th Division of the Nigerian Army and Sector 1 Operation Hadinkai, Brigadier General Ugochukwu Nnachukwu, to life imprisonment and other jail terms for arms and ammunition racketeering in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The verdict convicted Sergeants Raphael Ame, Sergeants Ejiga Musa, and LCPL Patrick Ojete to life imprisonment, while CPL Omitoye Rufus was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment after they pleaded guilty to several counts charges ranging from theft, unlawful dealings in ammunition, offense in relation to service property, as well as aiding the enemy. In a statement by the acting Deputy Director, Army Public Relations 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Haruno Mohammed Sani, the activities of these bad eggs, he says, personnel are not only a violation of the law, but a betrayal of the trust, discipline, and honor expected of troops in the theater. Well, security does it for us here on Lunchtime Politics this hour. Thanks indeed for watching. On behalf of the production team and everyone here, you have been served on Lunchtime Politics. Good afternoon.